Of TFNN. The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien coming to you live from TFNN, 8:30 a.m. Friday morning, 1 hour to go until the opening bell, and quite a difference 24 hours can make. This morning, we're sitting at futures limit up across the board. Right now, you've got the S&Ps trading up 126 points, 25.82. That mark exactly where it will sit, no higher. It can trade lower than that, but at limit up in futures, you're trading 25.82. You got the Dow right now. Let's move this a little bit over so you can see all the digits. 1,110 points trading higher in Dow futures. NASDAQ futures up 407 points. We'll start things off. Let's jump over. We'll jump over, and we're going to put things on even a 15-minute chart. Pretty remarkable. The S&P is a 15-minute chart when you just go back to Friday, 3,037. We reach a low last night of 2380. Zooming in a bit, 5-minute chart on the S&Ps. And as you can see, up at the upper limit, almost was up at this level at about 4 a.m. as well, and currently sitting at that mark since about 7 a.m. this morning. You see the tick across, each tick representing 5 minutes. We've been trading limit up for the last hour and 20 minutes in the S&P. Jumping over to the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ trading 76.09. Similar story. 7:10 this morning. They trade limit up. Last night, 69.25. My goodness, 675 points. Remarkable, right? I had to check the math myself. The Dow. It'll pull up. Currently trading 22,054. Same story there as well. Futures limit up. And again, just remarkable moves. Last night, 20,230. That is 1,800 Dow points since last evening at almost midnight. A remarkable run, especially when you consider, folks, when you're down at 20,000, 2,000 points now represents a 10% jump. So you're talking about almost 9% from that low. As we get to these lower numbers, the point moves that we have are a much bigger representation of percentage-wise the entire index. Gold contract, jumping over to some commodities, quite a day to the downside with gold yesterday, trading with the markets. You had gold trade from 1640. Yesterday afternoon, we were at about 1560. Gold makes a low overnight with the markets, 10 p.m., almost at midnight, and then we're trading 1586. Haven't quite seen the charge that the equity markets have seen. Checking in on silver this morning, 1571 currently the price of silver. Similar action, making a low overnight between 10 p.m. and about midnight of 1530. And notes and bonds. Right now, you've got the 10-year trading down 23 ticks, 136.17. You see where we are. We're approaching right where we were in terms of the lows in price. That would correlate to higher yield prices, 136.16 right now as we tick, 136.13. As we await the market open, less than 60 minutes, we got futures limit. So as those bonds coming right back to where we were at about 4 a.m. Eastern time. Checking in on some of the stories. And it's the similar headlines, right? Quite a day for headlines. Yesterday, of course, you had whether it was the NBA Sunday night, NHL, Major League Baseball, NCAA tournaments, all getting canceled yesterday. I'm hearing a lot more schools. Of course, we're from Boston. I'm familiar with many up there. My mom telling me lots of schools getting closed down. Boston, a bigger number than down in Florida. Maybe that's something that we just expect to see. All of the headlines kind of combining for quite a whirlwind day yesterday in markets, down about 10%. Just remarkable. The numbers for the coronavirus, more than 135,000 globally. Global debts at almost 5,000 at this point, 49.77. The U.S. is up to 1701, with the U.S. having 40 deaths accordingly. So Hubei government says only Wuhan city is high epidemic risk. So the government, the epicenter of that outbreak lowered the epidemic risk rating of several cities. Looks like they're just toting it back to the original region. Hopefully they have that under control, and hopefully we in the countries around the globe can do the same thing. Small businesses say the coronavirus is starting to cause supply chain squeezes. I imagine so. This is quite a shutdown across the board, let alone it was China. You have Italy. You have France closing all schools, I believe, as well. Lots of sensational headlines, of course, what to do in the event of, etc. U.S. grants emergency approval to Roche for testing, so a new test out there. Hopefully they continue to advance in the technology of that. Premier League suspending soccer matches until April due to the coronavirus. Croatia, Estonia closing schools. You could read through a plethora of them. It can go on and on as that goes. In terms of value, you have Wells Fargo upgrading Apple. Sees a compelling risk reward amid coronavirus market plunge. I'll get it. If you're a long-term investor here, I mean, some of these stocks, it's really tough to step in front of a train, right? But Apple down at 235 overnight, and now the market's bouncing quarterly. That last print is at almost 8 p.m. This first print here is 4 a.m. We saw what happened last night. The lows at around midnight. Market charges higher. But you're approaching $33 above that overnight low. Even from the close of yesterday, you're going to be up $20 in Apple, possibly on the open. With a little, that's a 5-minute bar. Even just put it on a 20-day hourly, you were just trading at $328. You almost went down $100 from that price point in Apple. And on a longer-term chart, though, man, I mean, that is just quite a charge. Let's see what that is on a retracement. I'm curious. Because some of these moves were just so mammoth. Yeah, so it exceeded that 382 retracement, which is remarkable when you think about the type of run we had from 140 up to 327. And if you had told people in February that you were going to be past a 382 retracement on March 13th, Friday the 13th as well, not sure many people would have believed that one or would have been very skeptical in terms of what we would see, and a global pandemic. Not what people expected for sure. Amazon shares. Checking out there. Now, they had such a consolidation going here. We just had that peak at $21.85. This morning, we're trading up almost $100 on Amazon. Check out this pre-market chart, $17.60. Same thing. I mean, not almost 100. Yes, almost 100. But my goodness, you're talking about $130 off of the low we had last night. Things looked dicey last night. I mean, it's become a routine with everything going on. I pull my phone out, right? You see where futures are, even at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, let alone if you're up at midnight. If you happen to open your eyes at 4 in the morning, I got to check on futures. And last night, it was saying, man, is this really going to do another big day? We were down 3% after hours, after a 10% decline during the day, and the market just really accelerating. 1760, maybe they're expecting, and details are starting to emerge, possible deals in terms of Congress, in terms of paid sick leave for 2 weeks, those types of stimulus, those types of fiscal stimulus from our government is what you're going to need, because you're going to see a shutdown for 2 to 4 months. I know some cities passing non-eviction notices. Market life is going to pause for 2 to 4 weeks as things, kids are going to stay home from school. Parents, they're not going to have care set up if they're used to kids being in school. They're not going to be able to set it up when everybody else is also out of work, staying home. How is that going to affect their pay? Are they going to miss a mortgage payment? I think you're going to see the government respond. Hopefully you do, because the market telling us we need it, and maybe that's part of what has futures still sitting limit up. S&P's up 126 points, 5%, but we're going to open higher than that. We'll see where we go. Stay tuned. We'll be right back in 3 minutes.
If you're in the CD market and looking for a secure investment, the Tiger First Mortgage Program may work for you. The security for these first mortgages are building lots in the Tax Opportunity Zone in St. Petersburg, Florida. The Tax Act of 2018 set up tax-free zones across the country where you can build and hold for 10 years and pay no tax on the profits, which makes these lots valuable. The investment is anywhere from $30,000 to $75,000. The interest paid is 7% yearly, paid on a monthly basis. According to Bankrate.com, the best rate for a 4-year CD in the country as of February 20th is 3.1%. A $50,000 investment at a normal 4-year CD rate of 3.1% would give you income of $1,550 per year, or $6,200 over the 4-year period. That same $50,000 investment in the Tiger First Mortgage Program would give you $3,500 per year or $14,000 over the 4 years. Which would you prefer, $6,200 or $14,000 of interest on your investment? If you would like more information about the Tiger First Mortgage Program, you can call me at 877-518-9190. That's 877-518-9190. The gold market has taken off topside in a large way in 2020. If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my gold report. The gold report took profits in 4 of its equities in the gold portfolio in the first week of January for a combined profit of 99.2%, with 2 positions left in the portfolio that have a profit of 67.5% as of January 7th. The gold report is a comprehensive look at the metals sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the gold report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the gold report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back, folks. Futures markets at limit up 5% in the positive. We'll see where we market opens. We're about 48 minutes right now from that market open. S&P's up 126 points, 25.82. The 10-year yield right now, 0.925%. What was that low? Like 0.3? 0.4 maybe, would be 1%, obviously, just in round number, critical number. We'll see if we flirt with that number today as the markets persist. Jumping back to some of the news stories, we got some companies out with earnings this morning. We have Slack out with their earnings, losing 4 cents a share for the last quarter, 1 cent a share, 1 cent a share, less than analysts were expecting. The workplace messaging platforms providers revenue came in above estimates. However, Slack forecast lower than expected billings this year and reported a surge in expenses. Slack trades under the symbol WORK, W-O-R-K. You have those shares trading higher, quite a chart, 1601. 21.52. That's going to close up. Now, it closed yesterday at 21.35. I mean, they initially dropped on that number, and we're going to close right back up there. But you're talking about $5 it spikes down. And right now, we're in the green in Slack at 21.60. I'm sure the market helping this out with the market up about 5%. You know, Slack, workplace messaging, they need to get their money from companies doing business. Not good if the economy's slowing down for them, for sure. Gap out with their earnings, 50 cents a share, 17 cents a share above estimate, quite a beat. Revenue comes in above Wall Street forecast as well, and better than expected 2020 profit. The company warned, however, that it expects a $100 million revenue hit this quarter due to the coronavirus outbreak. Look like Gap getting it back together if it weren't for the coronavirus, as in pretty good numbers. And as you'd expect, I'm up almost 10%. I mean, you're up, I guess, 83 cents, but a $10 stock, 8.3% in the positive on Gap, 10.90 on those earnings right there. Also out, where are we going? Yes, the chip sector. Broadcom, AVGO, withdrew its 2020 revenue forecast. So they're pulling the revenue forecast. They're out with their numbers last night, I believe, as well last night. There they are. I mean, same thing, just a huge move. You're talking about $20 down, 10% almost down. You closed at $218. You trade down to $197. So what's that? $21, almost 10%. And guess what? You're going to open almost $10 in the positive, as you're now almost $30 off of that low of 197 last night. And in terms of the actual numbers, the estimate was 539. They made 525. Maybe that's the reason for the spike lower. Miss. But the conference call at 5 o'clock, plus the market, turns things around a bit. We also got Oracle beating estimates by a penny a share, 97 cents a share. Company software revenue slightly above analyst estimates, ORCL. Spike's a little bit lower, but they're going to open almost 10% higher. 43.80, closed at 39.80, so almost $4 higher, almost exactly 10% in the positive for Oracle shares. DocuSign with their earnings as well, 12 cents a share for the fourth quarter. They were supposed to make only 5 cents a share. I've heard Dave White talk about this show. You know, one of the companies that could benefit fundamentally, just thinking about things, being able to sign paperwork over remotely or online without meetings, right? That seems like a lot of interactions just in general. Maybe this even accelerates things to where it should be in terms of why they aren't doing that already. Putting this on a 20-day, though, with the market, it charges from about $90 or $92 back on February 19th, $64.88. But guess what? You're going to open almost $12 higher at $80 on DocuSign on their earnings. And the final one, the Buckle accessory retailer, earnings 96 cents a share, 9 cents above. I mean, pretty good numbers. On any other day, earnings, of course, would be looking at, what is that symbol, BK? Yes, BKE. And we'd be talking about politics. You got an event, you have a debate this weekend, Sunday night, between Bernie and Biden. Biden all but, assured, unless a huge reversal of epic proportions, that if Bernie turns things around, be interesting to see what happens with the debate, what happens with the states voting on Tuesday, Florida being one of them, I believe, March 17th. And does Bernie drop out after that? The market would just be rarely, but not with everything else going on. And the Buckle, what are we doing? Why are we not updating? Not sure why that's not coming in, but either way, 1460. We'll check back in on some of the commodities and what else we have going on. There's your crude oil chart, 5-minute chart. Last night, quite a day. Crude has charged higher with the market, quite an acceleration. You're talking about $3 and plus, $3 almost 50 cents from that low last night at 10 o'clock. Markets were at lows last night as well. And gold. I mean, look at that low last night at 10 o'clock, 15.51, currently trading at about 15.93. Other headlines out there going on, of course, the Fed last night, yesterday I should say, $500 billion repo operation, another one going on today, and that will persist as well. $198 billion into short-term bank funding operations amid big demand. Headlines coming out as well. Disney, we'll look at that stock this morning. Disney really affected. So the headline yesterday, closing the California parks in March. California getting hit especially hard, at least first, ahead of some other states. The news breaks, I believe it was last night then, that they're also closing Disney World in Orlando. Tampa, Florida, only about an hour from there. And with everything getting closed for the sports, jumping back to the chart on Disney, because ESPN, a property of the Disney company, and a huge relier on live sports, and I wonder how this is going to play out. Now, they have plenty to talk about with everything being closed, of course, but there's nothing like live sports. No live sports being played at all. I mean, Disney, the fall from grace, $91.81. Now, you're going to open at $98 this morning, so you're going to open right back at under this $100 price point. But, I mean, the fall off from $153, you just lost $60. You just lost 40% from that high. Disney's pulled back, and, whoops, I want to get this a little bit shorter time frame to see the action this morning. You were down at $88.90. You're going to open almost $10 higher on Disney at $98.50. And to put things in context, even a 3-year weekly, right? I mean, this is back in April. That's when they announced Disney Plus. I mean, you're back at pretty harsh levels. I can't even find it on a 3-year. Let's see where we go back now. You're back all the way to the run in 2015. Now, you did come all the way in 2011 at a price point of $28. Let's see what kind of a retracement we're dealing with. Right at 50%. Look at that, 91.31. And the low of this bar is going to be 91.64. Remarkable when you go from 28 to 153, right at a 50% and 40% off the haircut. You know, if things really get back in line in 2 months, 3 months, you take this drawing off. This is a company, there's going to be live sports played again. These breaks seem to be 4 weeks, 6 weeks. China's getting back to business as normal. And Disney is going to be relying a lot more on their Disney Plus streaming service. They're signing people up for whether it's a bundle package with ESPN and Hulu Plus, and with putting this even on a year daily. I mean, the future is going to live and die on whether they can produce good content, drive people to movie theaters. Again, I mean, talk about being hurt in the short term. But in the long term, I really see potential there for Disney to get things back on board. Because you look at Netflix. I mean, look at the run in Netflix. Now, let's see what kind of pullback this has been just even from September. Almost a 618. But looking in the short term of Netflix, right? I mean, look at that pop higher from 304 to 331. Everyone's going to be staying home watching some Netflix and chilling, right? Stay tuned, folks. When we come back for the final segment of the program, seeing what else we have on tap for Friday. Futures limit up, 40 minutes to go. We'll be right back.
I'm certain you are or strive to be one of the best at everything you do in life. It's the most common trait that we tigers and tigresses share. If you're looking to become the best of the best when it comes to managing your money, let me teach you to do what most wealth managers tell you can't be done, which is how to time the markets. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest has been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as their #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 for the last 12, 6, and 3 months. Timer Digest also ranks me as the #1 market timer for gold as well. The fact is, markets can be timed, and I'll teach you the exact set of tools that I use that has transformed me into one of the best at what I do. Sign up for Mastering Probability today by clicking on the newsletter tab on the homepage of TFNN.com and get immediate access to workshops where I take you step by step how to use an extraordinary set of tools, as well as provide great market calls too. Sign up today.
If you haven't checked out the newsletters page of TFNN.com, what are you waiting for? All of the TFNN newsletters are informative, up-to-date, affordable, and a must-have for every trader looking to gain a competitive informational edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets to offer you the very latest in market news. Plus, new subscribers get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs exclusively from TFNN. Stay informed each day you trade and get that competitive edge that will help you stay ahead of the game. Visit our newsletters page by going to TFNN.com and click the newsletters button near the top of the page. TFNN.com, educating investors.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They've been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back, folks. Futures limit up. Now, jumping over, I just want to jump over. We'll pull up the Asia numbers. And in terms of Europe real quick, quite a surge in terms of Europe. Why not? Look at that DAX, 8.3%, folks. The FTSE up 8%. The CAC up 9%. These markets were down 11% yesterday. Remarkable charge back for sure. Jumping back to the charts, we'll start things off and just jump through things in terms of the indices again. You have the S&P futures, 2582, 7 a.m. We went there. We've been there for 2 full hours in the S&Ps. That number going to surge at the open at least to 5%. We'll see if those gains hold. The Dow, 22,054. We were almost at 20,000 overnight. Now, really, to put things in context, and this isn't even getting political, this is just saying how remarkable the run is, because we are almost back to inauguration levels. Now, let alone there was a run from the election itself as well. But you go back to, in the Dow, November of 2016, you're talking about a high. Yes, November 1st. Yeah, November 2016, a high of 19,215 in that market. And we were just about to touch 20,000, 1,000 points. Just in a remarkable run. We were a hair away from 30,000, and then we were just a hair away from 20,000 in a heartbeat in those indices. Remarkable. Now, the Dow is the laggard. The company most responsible for that, Boeing. If you're going to follow the Dow, keep your eye on Boeing because, man, I mean, that just destruction completely from 446 to 154. Now, you're going to open at about 172 in Boeing, but whether the economy comes back, the stigma to do with that plane and what they have to do is a task upon itself and the market. I mean, just quite a reaction. Now, on the flip side, the leaders, I have Apple up there, but it's going to be the NASDAQ, 7609 right now. An epic pullback, but we're up, of course. Limit on the NASDAQ. Come on. And you look this up, I mean, just much less of a pullback from 9,700 to 7,600. Keeping in mind, the Dow, we went from 30,000 to 20,000. The NASDAQ, only about 2,000 points in that. Stay tuned, folks. Larry Pesavento coming up live at 9. I'll be back at 10 o'clock with Tom. Live programming all Friday. Interesting day in the market. Futures limit up. We'll be right back.